All right, good morning, everybody. So we left off the two dots on top of Ayin, Aleph, and Ksubas, Madir. So,
I can work it.
All right. Yeah, all right, two dots on the top. So we were discussing yesterday a case, Machlekes and Mishnah. We got grapes today. So we got a case of a husband, the chayra right now with a husband makes a neder, and then how long must the neder be for? What does it cover in order to require him to go ahead and divorce his wife? So Rabbi Yehuda Omer. So we said in the Mishnah, real quick. I'm just looking back at the Mishnah. The Mishnah is located in Daf Ayin Amud Aleph. So it says over there, Rabbi Yehuda jumps in. After that, he says, "B'Yisrael." We give him. So the Tanna Kama says, up until 30 days, and then comes in Rabbi Yehuda and says, right? And the Kohen is 2 months, and then the third month, then Yaitziv is in Ksuba. So Zak the Gemara, so Rabbi Yehuda Amir be so Chadash. So Hainu Tanna Kama. Tanna Kama says, Tanna Kama says Shleishim Yom. Rabbi Yehuda says Chodesh Echad. So Rabbi Kohenes Asil Ashvina. So no, Rabbi Yehuda is going to teach a Chiddush. And Echanami might agree in the case of Yisrael, 30 days, 30 days. But he's saying by a Kohenes, right, or a woman who marries a Kohen, right, since he cannot go ahead and just take her back. So therefore, wait 2 months, not 1 month. And Rabbi Amar Chodesh Molei B'Chaser. The difference is 1 month. It can be 29 days, and the Tanna Kama held 30 days. So only the difference was 1 day. Fine. Amarav says Rav Leishanu El Mefarish. We're only talking about a case of Mefarish when he says a specific time of Al Stam. He says you cannot get Hano from me. Yaitzi le'alter v'yiteng ksuba. Must divorce her immediately and give her a ksuba. Shmuel Amar afilu bestam lo yaitzi shemi matzi pesach l'nidra. Even if he said it's stam without an end to it, you are forbidden to get hana from me. Doesn't divorce her immediately, rather wait 30 days. Perhaps we'll find a way out of it, that neder, and therefore they will save the marriage. So some of this might sound familiar with you, right? This case, because you know why? Because we learned it before. We said, I argued about this before. That's how we learned in the Mishnah. Hamadas ishnu of the tashish amita. Now, just one who makes a neder to forbid his wife from Tashish Amita. Now, we discussed yesterday, and I actually saw Alan sort of make a face at me in disagreement. So yes, when the Mishnah and Rashi says we're only talking about, right? Rashi seems to say that when it comes to Tashmish, that there is a requirement of enough for a husband to provide his wife, and in addition to sustenance, he has to provide relations to her, right? So that's part of the marriage. It's in the Torah. There's written in the Torah that is required. So how could he make this neder? So Rashi holds that it's not even chal on Hashmish. Since he's required, he can't take that away from her, right? And Tosfos says that the lashon of this neder was only mashma money, mazonos. It wasn't mashma other types of benefits. Now, as the benefit, he forbidden from benefit, it wasn't referring to relations. He was rather just referring to financial support. Financial relations with food on her table. Fine.
But tashmish means
no. Yeah, but he doesn't say tashmish. He just says a mother's he should milana to get forbidden, right? Forbidden to get hana. So that hana is not referring to physical pleasure. It's referring to financial support.
I don't think you should be in the window.
Yeah.
So just saying.
So that is that case. Now we have an identical case.
Maybe that explains Rob's position.
So that's
that
it.
he divorces immediately. That he's thinking, according to Rob, that it even
No, because this is the Kuliyama. Everyone reads the Lush, the Kuliyama. That's that everyone agrees that this is not our mission is not referring to Tasha, it's just referring to financial support. The only question is, why is it only come financial support if the Lashon is Milanos to get pleasure? But anyway,
I thought that they go to marriage counseling.
So that's like Rob. So we had this machlokes over here. Rav says divorce her immediately, and Shmuel says, wait 30 days. We had this machlokes before. The Tanana mothers, he showed me Tashmish, the one who forbids his wife, not referring to for sustenance, for support, rather from physical relations. Beishamai Yomim Shtei Shabbosais. Beisil Yomim Shabbos Achas. Beishamai says you got to wait 2 weeks. Beisil says 1 week. But Rav machlokes mefarish, only machlokes over here is if he says 1 week or 2 weeks, then okay, she can go without for 1 or 2 weeks. But if he just says you're free to have relations for me, Yaitzi le'altimidei ksuba says Rav, divorce her immediately. No, you got to wait the amount of time that had he would have specified. You wait that amount of time because perhaps they would have found a way to be nullify the vow. So you see this machlokes already occurred between Rav and Shmuel. Rav says immediately, and Shmuel says wait it out. Right? Perhaps we'll find a Pesach. So Gemara says no, we need both cases. Rabbi. If it was that case, over there, Rav says, goes out and divorce immediately. Why is that? Divorce immediately because there's no one else who can go ahead and provide enough for her, provide relations. But over here, since he has an outside party, maybe you'd say, okay, wait 30 days because you have an outside party supporting you. And if it was only in that case, only in that case, would Shmuel say divorce him? Because Shmuel says you wait 30 days because 30 days should be supported. But in the case of relations, maybe you say the Rav, since that that there's nobody that can provide for her, that the tashmish. So therefore, we need the machlokes in both cases between Rav and Shmuel. Fine. Now let us analyze our Mishnah. Tanan hamadir es ishta shalei titay echad mikol peiros. One who goes ahead and makes a nether. His wife should not go ahead and taste from a specific fruits. Yaitzi v'yiteng ksuba. Divorce her immediately. Why? I think. I understand according to Rav. Kan v'stam, kan v'farish. One is the case of stam. Remember, Rav says if there is no time limit, divorce her immediately. So it makes sense, right? The other case is v'farish. Earlier in the ratio where he says 30 days, whatever it is. So then you wait it out, right? El Shmuel, according to Shmuel, kasha. According to Shmuel, it's a kasha. Why divorce immediately? I thought Shmuel says, but Shami Matzeh Pesach. So Chamayskina can go in Shenadra he bekayim la ihu. Right, this is going to be the important thing. Right, we're going to be discussing this topic today. She makes the nether. I'm not going to go ahead and enjoy star fruit, right? Whatever it is, right? And he says, okay, fine. So and this case says.
Okay.
In this case, Yaitziv is saying ksuba. He has to get the ksuba right away. B'kaila iu, and therefore he has to go ahead and divorce her immediately. B'ksav Rameir must be the Rameir holds. Who knows in Esa b'shinel? He is the one basically causing the nether, even though she was the one who made it. By him saying, okay, fine, all right, I'm not yet because it's basically on him, and since it's on him, therefore he's required to give her a divorce and give her a ksuba. So it's on him. Remember, if he's required to go ahead and pay out, that means it's on him. If he can divorce her without paying, that means it's on her. So over here, we're saying divorce her and give her a ksuba, therefore it's on him. So, l'chayra, it's Rameir. And now, so I've saw Rameir, who knows it as ben Shina. Rameir holds that when she makes a nether and he says, okay, it's on him, right? A woman says, I'm going to be a Nazir, right? She makes on the Chumas of Nazirus, the Shama, Baila, and her husband hears, and he does not go ahead and nullify, right? Rameir Yehuda, all right, let's remember the names. Rameir Yehuda, he must not Ezra ben Shina. She made the nether of the Nazirus, it's on her. Therefore, if he wants to go ahead and nullify it, he can nullify it. And he says, I don't want a wife who takes this Nazirus upon herself. Divorce her and you owe her nothing. It's on her. She made it. Right? So you see, it's different than Rameir before. Our Rameir seems to say, and our Tanakama holds that you got to divorce her immediately, right? And give her a ksuba. Over here, it seems you can divorce her, but you don't have to pay her up. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Elazar, who knows say that's a Mishnah? No, since she says I'm going to be a Nazira, right? And he says, okay, therefore it's on him. If he wants to nullify, he can still nullify. He says, I can't live with a woman like this. Yaitzi v'yiten ksuba. Go ahead, you got to pay her out. So the Gemara says, okay, I have an idea. Epuch, switch it around. Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda, the first two opinions, Omrim, who saying, it says, no, it was his fault, right? And therefore, you have to pay her out. And it was the second opinion, Rabbi Yisrael, Rabbi Elazar, they were the ones that was on her fault, and therefore you don't have to pay her. So we switched it around. So you switched it around. So now Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Elazar were the opinion of that it was her fault. Rabbi Yossi, he nasna. Rabbi Yossi holds on her. But now we're the Mishnah. Rabbi Yossi, Aimer Banius. Look at our Mishnah. It says Banius Shaloi Nasan Kitzva. We're talking about a case that says perfume, and we said if it's a poor lady, right, and he did not go ahead and give a time limit, then he has to divorce her immediately and pay her out. And if we're talking about when she was the one who made the neder and he has to pay her out, obviously, right, we see that it's on him because he has to pay her out.
Right.
So Gemara says, okay, instead of switching on the 2 and 2, let's switch up the teams. Ema, Rav Meir, Rav Yossi, Aymin Hunaysein. Rav Meir and Rav Yossi are the ones who says it's his fault. And Rav Yehuda, Rav Elazar, Aymin, he does not. So Gemara says, no, it still doesn't work out. Why? The Sabbath Rabbi Yehuda, now the third Tana from these 4 who are arguing, the Sabbath Rabbi Yehuda, he nasna, right? It's on her, but non Rabbi Yehuda, look at Mishnah, Yisrael, Yikayim, right? When it comes to Yisrael, then only one day Yikayim. But more than that, you got to go ahead and divorce her and pay her off if your nether was longer than that, right? And when it says your nether means she made the nether and he upheld it, and therefore it's on him. So Gemara says, okay, fine. Ema, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yossi, Aymin, who Naisein, it's on him. Rabbi Elazar, Aymer, who he nasna, it's on her, and therefore he doesn't have to go ahead and give her ksuba. So therefore, I switch around that way. Instead of being 2 verse 2, it's 3 verse 1. The Gemara says, if you want to say, hey, you got to make things fair, you got 2 and 2, Katani, say, as we did originally, Ema, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Elazar, Aymin, he nasna, it's on her, and therefore he doesn't have to go ahead and give her ksuba. And Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yossi, Aymin, who Naisein, it's on him. And therefore, if he must divorce her and give her a ksuba in that case, of the Nazirs, the hastama, the loik Rameir, and our Mishnah, and as the whole reason about the Mishnah is, Rameir holds, right? It's on him. He has to pay her off. So our Mishnah, the Tanakama, right, is not Rabbi Meir. It doesn't mention Rabbi Meir in the Mishnah, and therefore don't say it, right? Even though normally Rabbi Meir is Tanakama of the Mishnah, in this case he's not, or else you have a contradiction. Fine. The Sava Rabbi Yossi, so it says there's a Rabbi Yossi Bani Shalonazan Kitzva. So it says over there in the case of Rabbi Yossi, right back in the Mishnah. So Rabbi Yossi said, I think so, right? Was it Rabbi Yossi in the Mishnah or no? Oh, yeah, the bottom of the Mishnah. Rabbi Yossi said here, if it says, so the guy makes Hamadar Sisho Shalotis Kashi Be'acham Mikol Aminim, Yaitz is like so. A person makes a nether, I'm just reading from the Mishnah, not to use a certain perfume,
Right.
right? And then he has to divorce, if he doesn't give a time, he has to divorce her immediately. And Rabbi Yossi says, with the Banius, with the poor person, with the poor woman, Shalom Zakit. So only if he didn't provide a time. If he said poor lady and he gave her specific time, then it would be okay. So Rabbi Yossi Banius Shalom Zakit. Alma, Bal Matzi Mefer. We see that he has to go ahead and divorce her immediately and give her ksuba. But why? What could he have done? He could have nullified her vow. So according to Rabbi Yossi says he can nullify her vow. These are the things that husband can go ahead and nullify his wife's vow. Right, something that is considered to be inui nefesh, right? Like personal suffering, right? Something which is a personal vow, right? So what do we say? So im erchatz, right? Im lo erchatz, a woman says, I will bathe or I won't bathe. Im iskashet, im iskashet.
Okay.
Or so these are the things that they nullify, and we said in terms of putting on perfume, right? Effective. I don't want to be with her. She's disgusting and she smells, right? And Amar Rabbi Yossi, and over there, Rabbi Yossi says, "Ain't inui nefesh." No, that's not inui nefesh. She can do what she wants. This is considered inui nefesh. She says, "She said, I'm gonna be a vegan. I'm not gonna eat meat. Or I'm never gonna drink wine. Or for shalo is kashet the big day tzivayim. Or I won't wear colorful clothes." That's inui nefesh. But stam to go ahead and not perfume. That's not inui nefesh. So according to Rabbi Yossi, so how it's a contradiction of Rabbi Yossi. So my answer is no. things, private matters. Now that's what we're talking about over here. When it's kashet, was referring to private matters between him and her, right? As Rashi says, b'darim shebeinu lebeina, right? Sas hamashir sasea, right? To use a line or something to go ahead and remove hair, right, from a private area. So over there, if she makes a neder like that, then such a thing involves him, and therefore he can nullify that. So this works well according to the opinion who holds that's something between him and her that he can go ahead and nullify. But according to that, a husband can't nullify even such a vow like this. Mike and I were going to say, Ditamar, right? And we're talking about a case where she makes the vow. It says there, right? Things, private matters between him and her that she makes a neder. Rav Huna Amar Habal Mefer. Rav Huna says the husband can't nullify, so that works well. However, Rav Ada Bar Abba Amar Ein Habal Mefer. The husband cannot. Why? Because we don't find that a fox ever died in his own foxhole, right? So therefore, that even if she doesn't go ahead and she makes such a neder, right, she's not going to go ahead and groom or be mashir as a sayar, right, from Osamakum. So then, in such a case, it doesn't really affect him. Okay, he'll deal with it. It's not a big deal. So therefore, since it's not a big deal, he's not allowed to nullify it. El Hachamaskinan Kigoin the Talino Likishute Batashmish Hamita. She says, you know what? She basically says that I'm not going to go ahead, right? That if I go ahead and put on perfume, right, or whatever it is, then I'm answering Tashmish Mita. The Amra, she says, Yeser Hanas Tashmishecha Alai, your Tashmish is usher to me, if I go ahead and put on this perfume. And in this case, so therefore, since, right, if she puts, so therefore, basically, she's like, it's like she's banning this perfume, right? Because she's, so the Gemara said, or the Gemara's question. So therefore, since she's banning this perfume by saying that if I put on this perfume, right, then Tashmish is usher. So therefore, that's the reason for the divorce. Kedama Rav Kahana, Hana is Tashmish Alecha. If she says my Tashmish is usher to you, right? We go force her to go out in relations because she can't forbid her tashmish on him because she doesn't have the right to do that, right? She's obligated.
Why are women so complicated?
Right. And Hana is tashmish echalai, but she says the Hana of your tashmish is usher to me. Now she's answering on herself. Then Yefer, then he has to nullify lefishein machlin aladam davar ha'asr, right? Because he wants he's required the tashmish, and therefore he has tashmish, but it becomes usher to her. So therefore he should nullify it. So the Gemara says, okay, she says, if I put on this perfume, then the tashmish is usher. So the Gemara says, okay, I have a solution. Don't put on the perfume, and then the tashmish never be usher. So the Gemara says, right? So no, then she'll be discussing, I guess it was the only type of perfume, and therefore she would sell and be menuvelas, and therefore that's not really an option. If the usher. So I understand. So we said in our Mishnah, in this case, he has to go ahead and divorce her immediately. So the Gemara says, I understand. She puts on the perfume because she has her, or else she'll be discussing. The Teyazer, okay, then Tashmish will be Yasser. But we saw in the previous couple of weeks ago, in the previous Mishnah is, it's either 2 or 1 weeks. No one holds it's immediate. So Gemara says, no. When he makes the neder, Tashish Aser. The Sabra Mirtach Razach Alai. Right, Hashem must have died. He was angry at me, and now he'll come back to his senses, and he'll nullify the vow. With whether it's a week or 2. But in this case, the Nadri, right? She made the neder. The Tashmish is Aser, right? The Shasik law, and he was quiet. So Sabra now she yells, but the Ishtik, by the fact he was quiet. Misnahu the sunny way, right? He hates me, right? And therefore, in this case. Basically, there's animosity between the two of them. Therefore, we say divorce immediately. Don't wait out the week or 2. And Rabbi Yossi Aimer Baniush Nazan Kitzvah, by a case of Anius, did not give any sort of time. But if you do give a time, you don't have to go ahead and divorce her. And how much does they have a kama kitzvah? Some Rabbi Yehuda Mashmuel, Yud Beis Chodesh, 12 months for a poor person. And Rabbi Rechan Omer Rabbi Yechnan, right? She can go without perfume. Esther Shanim, even 10 years. And Afiza Amar Avimi Regel. All right, until the holiday, because we find that they go ahead and they put on perfume for the Shlosh Regalim every, for the next holiday. And Bashiris, and if there's a wealthy people, then Shloshim Yom, then 30 days. So Maisha Shloshim Yom, why 30 days for a wealthy woman if he forbids or if the vow is made with the perfume more than 30 days, it's no good. Why is that? By a wealthy woman, because they put it on every 30 days and they benefit from it. And therefore, if one of them makes the neder to forbid it, whichever way, as we learn according to Shmuel, right? If she says, okay, if I perfume this, then it'll be usher, right? So then, therefore, 30 days would be the max amount of time for a shears. Fine. Anaya Mishnah. Mishnah says, Hamader and Ayin Aleph and Beis. Hamader as Ishtay Shaloi Telech LeBeis Aviyah. The guy makes a neder. You are forbidden to go back to your father's house. Bisman Shehu Ima Be'ir, when they live in the same city. Chaydesh Echad, 1 month. Yikayim Shnayim. But if it was 2, then Yaitziv is in Ksuba. He says 2 months, then he has to go ahead and divorce her and give her her money. Bisman Shehu Be'ir Acheres, and it was another city. So Regal Echad Yikayim. Excuse me 1 second. Hamadas Yisha B'Shaloi Telech LeBeis Aviyah Bisman Shehu Ima Be'ir Chaydesh Echad Yikayim Shnayim Yaitziv. He's like Ksuba. It was Manshi Be'ir Acheres. Another city. So Regal Echad Yikayim. This is okay, right? So regular Yikayim, it was 1 month, then it's okay. But Shloisha, right? Yaitziv is saying Ksuba. One holiday, excuse me, sorry. So 1 holiday, right? Then Yikayim, then it's okay. 1 month, but he says, you can't go for Shavuos and Pesach and Sukkot, all 3. Then, in a row, then Shloisha, Yaitziv is saying Ksuba. Fine. Next case. Hamader as Ishtay Shaloi Telech LeBeis Ha'avel or LeBeis Hamishta. Yaitziv saying Ksuba, one makes a neder that she should not go ahead to either a house of mourning or a wedding. So then he also divorced immediately because he's lacking up in front of her. He's socially. We'll soon see. Actually, Rashi hits us up with 4 Gemara Mefarish in our Mishnah. So really, we're supposed to, right? I guess we'll get clarity once we hit the Gemara. In next case, but if it's for another reason, then Rashi is allowed to go ahead and make such a neder. Once again, Rashi first Gemara and Amarle Almanashi Tamri Leplani, something is forbidden to you unless you tell something. Shetami Leplani Mashamar to lead, unless you go tell that those people what you told me, or Mashamar to love, or what I told you, something which is private. Or should go ahead and fill up and empty in the garbage dump. He says any of these things. Yaitse he takes Ksuba. He has to go ahead and divorce her and give her her money. Now, the Gemara points out that he can't force her to tell over other people private things.
Oh.
So the Gemara says, Gufa Kasha. So it's a contradiction. In case when her father lives out of town, so if he says 1 holiday, then okay, it's okay. You can stay with her. If it was 2 holidays, and Yaitse is saying Ksuba, then he has to go ahead and divorce her. Ema Seifa, but the Seifa, it says over there, Shloisha, if it's 3 holidays, Yaitse is saying Ksuba, he has to go ahead and divorce her. It sounds like it's only 2 holidays. Yikayim. Some Rabbi Seifa also in the Kohenes. Maybe the Seifa is referring to a Kohenes. The 3 is starting with the Kohenes we saw earlier, right? Now, in the case of Kohenes, we want you to not divorce so quickly because once you divorce, you can't take her back. Aish Cohen, yes, and right, like you said earlier, right? Rabbi Yehuda, and therefore, is according to Rabbi Yehuda, like we saw earlier in the previous mission. And Rabbi Bar Ula Omar Loikasha Kan Beradufa. If the woman is the type of one who always runs to her father's house, then 1 is ready enough punishment. Therefore, anything more than 1 is tough. And Kan Beradufa, but she doesn't run to her father's house, right? Then okay, fine too, no big deal. She doesn't even like going to her father's house anyways. Now the pasuk just brings in cases. Right, the pasuk over there in Shir Shirim, it says over there, I'll be like in his eyes. Right, like a girl who is very happy in her father-in-law's house. She's very happy in his husband's house. She can't wait to go home to tell her parents how happy she is. So we see that there is this instinct for a woman to go ahead and want to go to her father's house, to go ahead and say the shevach of her husband's house. Another passage referring to going to another house. And that day it would be called my husband and not necessarily my master. And right? It'll be like over there referring to it'll be like a bride in the house of her father-in-law, right, where the happiness of the new husband, and not necessarily the Kala while she's still her father's house, waiting to go to her husband's house. All right, we'll stop here at the 2 dots. Thomas Hashem will probably go ahead and explain the rest of this case in the Mishnah, because once again Rashi just says.
What's the last line about?